Airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock.
He hits it.
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch made. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
We've got a number of things to cover today. It's Halloween. Matt Night Mayhem was outstanding last night. Shout out to all the fans that came out to Matthew Knight Arena. It was a great time. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. I know for a fact the student athletes enjoyed it. To the young Duck fan that dressed up with a homemade duck costume, well done. That was outstanding. Won the best costume contest, and yeah, it was great. It was perfect. Well done. Good execution. Happy Halloween, everybody. We've got Dan Lanning talking with the media last night. Deputy Athletic Director, Senior Woman Administrator Val Johnson will be with us, and Oregon Volleyball Head Coach Matt Ulmer will join us here in just a little while. A 2:30 kickoff. Ducks, Golden Bears. Last time Cal's going to be at Autzen Stadium for the foreseeable future, which still seems weird to me. The Ducks, though, know that this is a big-time game because, look, it's in the month of November. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, rankings are coming out tonight. Do we care? I don't know. Scott does. Alex does. I care about the rankings at the end of the year. Last ones matter. Let's hear from Dan Lanning. His thoughts. Halloween week. Head coach. Brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer and Senior Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Dan Lanning's weekly press conference kicks us off today.
All right. Good Monday so far for our guys. Fun game coming off the weekend. I thought that was a great environment for our guys to go put their best foot forward and play their most complete game. Certainly excited about, what's ahead of us here at the end of the season, and I'm excited about the direction our guys are going. So
after getting to watch the tape, I'm curious if the positives were as good as you thought they'd be, and if some of the negatives were as bad as you thought they would have been.
Well, I certainly think we played a complete game, but I know also that we can play a lot better. And there's some moments there where I think we stubbed our toe, whether it be a penalty here or there that kind of held us back. You look at the end of the game, we had some penalties on drives at the end of the game that led to punts. Not necessarily the cause of a punt, but we just put ourselves in position. We could have been a lot more successful, throughout the game. And there's some missed opportunities that were sitting out there as well that we can take advantage of. Lots of room for growth. But did we play a complete game? Yeah, I absolutely feel like we did.
You now said a couple times you thought you played a complete game. I'm curious if you can use this as almost a measuring stick to live up to for the future, and kind of how to use this as motivation.
Well, I told our players I think that this is what we're capable of, and since this summer we've talked about the process of good to great, and I'd say, hey, we're good, right? We're a good team right now, and really what you do in November, that's going to determine if we're a great team. And we want to play our best football at the end of the season. We've played our best football to date this last week, and we have to play better going forward. So if we continue to grow, I think that just shows what we're capable of. And we watched the film and said, wow, we could have played a lot better. So that's certainly a positive moving forward.
Along those lines, when you're playing so much high-stakes football right now, what do you say to your guys to really channel their emotions but also not play out of control? Because it seems like that's been a strength of this team so far this year.
Yeah, it's about the next play. We showed a clip this morning of Michael Jordan going into the basket. He makes a shot, turns around, gets a steal, then the ball gets stolen from him, and he runs all the way down the court and blocks a shot right before it goes off. And the emphasis of that was the next play, right? He wasn't worried about the shot he just made and acknowledging that. He wasn't worried about the steal he made and then lost. He was ready to go play the next play after that. And one of the biggest things that we can do as we move forward is focus on the next play, because that's the most important one. And our guys have had great focus this year to be able to do that. I think we've had response on both sides of the ball in adversity because of our ability to reset and not worry about what happened in the past, but what's next. And that'll be big for us as the season moves on.
Post-game, Bo broke down the second touchdown, all the things that were going on pre-snap in detail, talking about the checks and reading the field pressure and et cetera, and the communication, everything that went with it. At the next level, that's very normal. But at this level, that's not necessarily normal. Wanted you to put in context how advanced he is compared to other college quarterbacks and the autonomy that he's had both last year and this year to other quarterbacks that you've been a part of and been a team, on those teams, whether it be Stetson or Riley Ferguson or et cetera. How unusual is what he's doing for you guys?
Yeah, certainly my role on teams that I've been in the past, I probably don't get as clean of a picture of what those quarterbacks were able to do for their team, but I'll say this, I've never been around a quarterback like Bo that understands what we're trying to accomplish so well. And there's times that we're there as a coaching staff on the sideline saying, okay, wait, what is he checking to? Oh, all right, good, that worked, and he gets it right a lot more often than not. And that was a look that we had worked a lot because it's a tough pressure to deal with. And we felt like we had a really good answer if we saw it. I thought our coaching staff and the players on the field had a really clear indication exactly what we wanted to accomplish if we saw that look. And Bo did a great job of getting us into that play, and our players did a really good job of executing. That happens every single week. Not every time is it a touchdown, right? But that happens every single week for us where he gets us into a play or our offensive staff identifies something that can get us into a play that we think is going to be successful, and that's just one example of it.
Looking ahead to Cal, their offense has been much improved this year. They're a lot better than they have been in years past. After watching film of them, what have you seen that really has kind of elevated that for them?
Yeah, not remotely the same team that we've played in the past. These guys are scoring a lot of points. They're extremely efficient. I think they're playing some of their best ball, especially offensively here towards this point in the season. They found a rhythm. I think they've settled in at quarterback. They have some really talented skill players. I think their running back is leading the conference in yards. And it's certainly dynamic, hits some explosive runs. He's an NFL back for sure. So they've created a lot of success for themselves on offense, and they play really sound on defense. Their coaching staff obviously has ties to this place, but they've built a brand of what good defensive football looks like over his career, over Coach Wilcox's career. And I think there's a lot of things that are coming together for them. They're an extremely capable team. So. Yeah, they are playing their best ball right now, and they're going to be a challenge with some of the things that they do.
Yeah, going back to Utah, I'm just curious what you made of Jeff Boss's performance and the way he was kind of consistently able to pressure Barnes. I think he led you guys in hurries.
Yeah, Jeff's a good player, right? And I think everybody else has seen, what we've always known as far as what Jeff can be. His biggest role for our team beyond, him making plays is really him getting us in the right call. He's our signal caller on defense. He's a phenomenal communicator. And because he studies and works so hard to know where things are going to be, it's why he's able to be productive too, because he knows where the ball's going before it goes there, right? He's able to beat people to the point of attack. He's able to understand what kind of rush move that he wants to use. So I'm really impressed with Jeff and excited to see him continue to grow.
We've now seen some examples, some snippets of your speeches before the game, I should say. I'm curious on where that comes from. You always had that command in a room, and how much preparation you put into those kind of things.
I don't know. I didn't really give speeches when I was a third grade basketball coach. I did take a speech class at Williamsville College. We always want to find a message that we feel like fits our team and where we're at in the season and what we want to accomplish. And I think maybe you've seen some glimpses of that throughout this season. But yeah, it's more about what's the message for our team that week.
Your guys are saying they're starting to play some of their best football. You've said that this is the most complete game. Just are there things that you can point to that don't show up in the box score that are just better, that you guys are playing well in certain areas that maybe don't show up when a fan looks at, hey, yeah, sacks are up or third down conversions are up?
Well, defensively, missed tackles are down, right? And I don't know if that's something that ever gets really charted in the box score. I think our downfield blocking and guys being involved in plays where they're not touching the ball, that's up. And that's not going to be something that shows up in the box score. One of the things we coach the hardest today is how are we going to celebrate when we have a successful play? It doesn't seem like something a lot of people would coach, but we're watching this and say, hey, we can do a better job of getting a hat on a helmet after. That's a phenomenal play. How are we going to celebrate that together? So there's a lot of things that really go back to our DNA traits when you talk about connection that we're looking for from our players. And I think we'll continue to see that as the season moves forward.
Dorles's numbers year over year are very comparable, maybe a little ahead in sacks, but otherwise it's pretty comparable production. But the box score doesn't tell the whole story with him. And during the telecast, they were talking about how you guys were really raving about how different he is compared to last year. What is so different for him when the production is, again, on paper, it looks similar? What is making him more dynamic? Because last week he clearly had a greater impact than a couple of tackles.
Yeah, and I don't know what his exact production was last year, and I don't know really honestly what it is this year. I know what production looks like in our defense, right? And he's grading out consistently high. You know, production leader for us might be somebody that impacts the quarterback that doesn't necessarily get a QB hit or a batted ball. But he's playing with great effort and technique. I think what you'll see is his versatility is really showing up this year. We've moved him all across the front. Sometimes he's playing 3 technique. Sometimes he's standing up in the game like a linebacker last game, and we're pressuring him like a 0 nose. And then he'll play 5 technique. He'll play outside backer. So his versatility is really showing up for us. His intelligence as a player to be able to be moved around that much and execute at a high level is really showing up. And then just his fanatical effort. I think he's had great effort this season. That's led to him playing good ball.
Spend most of our time talking about coaches and players, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about your medical staff and the strength staff. How important have they been for you this year to be as healthy as you guys are to the season?
They do a phenomenal job. Chief and his staff, we have a meeting every single day to give an update of where we're at. I think what we do in sports science here is really special. I think we're able to prevent a lot of injuries because before we get to an injury, we realize that a player's player load's high or his hamstring strength isn't where it needs to be, and we're able to pull off of them, modify a practice to make sure that they're able to see the field, where I think a lot of places in the country don't necessarily have that technology or the ability to use that. I think our strength coach is unbelievable. Coach Love and his staff do a phenomenal job of connecting with our players and making sure they get the needs that they need to be able to go out there and execute. A couple things that we've changed on game day. We do a primer lift, with our players. We didn't do that in the past, and that's been something that's really good for us to activate their body, get them ready for battle, and they've done a good job with that.
They've rotated through a couple quarterbacks this year, but it looks like Mendoza's where they've settled now. What impressed you this last weekend going against USC? Obviously, they were a 2-point conversion away from winning that one.
Yeah, his decision making. This offense is really built off of loaded box. We're going to be able to throw it over your head. Light box, we're going to be able to run it, and they've run the ball really effectively. But I think a lot of that comes down to the decision making of the quarterback, because a lot of those are tied to RPOs. So he's done a great job with that. He's able to throw it into really tight windows. He throws a bullet pass. It's on him, and their wideouts, do a good job catching contested passes, but he puts it in a place where only they can get it. So he's operating at a high level. Probably doesn't get enough credit for the ability to run the ball as well. He's certainly had some successful runs this season with his legs. So really a complete player.
What's just been the changes offensively from this year to, I guess, for your experience last year with them?
Yeah, biggest thing is probably just the tempo. I think they've run more plays than any other team in our conference right now. They've been able to establish the run, and they're doing a lot of that through scheme. And like I said, hat count. They're not running the ball into loaded boxes. When it's a loaded box, they're able to throw it over the top. And when it's light, they have a back that can be patient enough and then go from 0 to 100 real quick. So the scheme they've done a really good job with, the tempo that they operate with, makes you be simple on defense. And makes you execute, and everybody has to be gap sound because every play has 2 plays, right? You have a run play and you have a pass play on every play. So different people have different jobs and they have to execute at a high level.
How unique is Kyrie's skill set for corners, among corners you've coached? Because, again, going by production, corners don't usually get a lot of TFLs and make the reads that he did in the run game like he did this past week. He's great in coverage for you and also capable of that. That seems pretty unique. How unique is it?
Yeah, he has the unique traits of a player that can play for a long, long time, right? When you build him in, on Madden, that's how you build him. Long guys that can run. He's built like that, and he certainly is productive. When the ball is in his area, and he's proven that he's a willing tackler, which you can't always say that about a corner. He's proven that he is. So excited to have the versatility of him at that position.
Now, you've said before that you don't love getting into comparisons, but are there similarities that you've seen between this team and the 21 Georgia team, and if so, what are they?
No, I don't think that the similarities. We're playing good football, but this team's definitely different than the 21 Georgia team. But I do think there's similarities in other teams that I've been a part of, and how we play, how we execute, and really the love for one another. There's definitely some similarities in that. But as far as where our strengths lie and what kind of team we are, where we really hang our hat. I think there's a lot of differences really between us and that team, but there's definitely similarities in other teams that I've coached.
With how uncertain punter was throughout the offseason, wanted you to give some context to exactly how well Ross is doing for you. You want it to be a small sample. It has been. But if he qualified statistically, he'd be third in the country. Just how different is that position for you compared to last year where it was always uncertain?
Yeah, Ross played his best game this last game, and that's one of those ones that I don't know if it always shows up, but it's not just the distance you punt it, it's the hang time that you put on the punt. He gave us an opportunity to have a sky kick that we could have pinned inside the 10 that we weren't able to pin, but he had a terrific kick. He's executed at a really high level. So really proud of, his performance and how he continues to compete there, and bring it every single week. But last week was a really good job by him.
Yeah, to piggyback off of James's earlier question, I think Jalil had a really good game tackling-wise against Utah, too. Just how have you seen him kind of progress physically and kind of improve in that regard this year?
Well, the more you play, the more experience you get, which Jalil is really developing a lot of experience this season, the faster you can play. And I think, this past game, he played fast, at moments and was decisive. And when you're decisive, then you can execute at a high level. He had a guy that he had to track all the way from the backside of a play all the way across the field, which is a pretty elite play. I've seen a few players make plays like that. Him making that decision quickly when it's kind of confusing how they're all these moving parts. And able to execute is big time. And that being said, Jalil knows a couple plays that I pointed out that, hey, we got to get better at. But he has the ability to be a really good player for us here at Oregon.
Apologies for this in advance, but Halloween tomorrow, how do you balance the grind of the season with getting to spend some time with your family? Any costumes for you? And what's your go-to Halloween candy?
Yeah, so we actually, right before I came down here, all of our all of our staff and their families, we just did Halloween right around the facility here. I was wearing a werewolf mask. I don't normally dress up, but one of the coach's wives gave me a hard time that I'm not wearing anything. I'll say this, a werewolf mask is not the best mask to wear for little kids. So there's some small children in the facility that I had to rip the mask off quick or they were going to be very upset. But yeah, it's a balance. That's part of the coaching world, but that's why we try to bring the experience here, and it was really good today.
Very small sample on kickoff coverage and defense. Yes, it's a lateral play designed to do what it did, but
yeah, outside of that return, I thought we've made really good progress in kickoff this year. And that was, they had a great scheme. They had a great setup on that. We have to have some guys that play with great effort and get off blocks. You can't go 1-for-1 on kickoff and expect to have success. Outside of that, I think, we've really improved from that standpoint. Obviously, we've eliminated, Cam kicked the ball really, really well on Saturday. And we had some good coverage, but that one's certainly way too many yards. Now, the very next play, we were able to get a takeaway, and that made it really advantageous for us. But I'm pleased with the growth there. I'm looking for consistency there throughout the year, because just like you said, we're going to see some really good returners as this year continues to go.
Coach Lanning breaking it all down, looking back at Utah, looking ahead to Cal, a 2:30 kickoff on the Pac-12 Network, 12:30 pregame show for us across the Oregon Sports Network. Trayshawn Holden, Keon Ware-Hudson, safeties coach Chris Hampton, and, of course, head coach Dan Lanning featured on our 12:30 pregame show that gets underway on Saturday. When we come back, it is Athletic Director Tuesday. The Deputy Athletic Director and Senior Woman Administrator Val Johnson is here in the studio. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio, joined by Val Johnson. She's here. Hey. It's been about 6 or so weeks since we've had you in the studio, so that means what have you been doing for the last 6 weeks?
Gosh, it's been my first fall.
Yeah.
First fall, so I had the full experience so far with going through everything with volleyball, which has been fantastic. Was able to travel with them a little bit. Obviously, being right next to the bench at every home game has been really insightful and exciting.
Sure.
And now we've got women's basketball up and rolling, so it's just definitely getting my duck feet.
You got your ducks in a row?
I got my ducks in a row. My duck feet are wet. And I'm jumping in the pond.
This is great. So senior woman administrator, deputy athletic director. You still have the longest business card of the senior staff. Did you know that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So abbreviations are your friend?
Totally.
What I don't even remember. What's your email signature? Is it like 5 lines?
No, I've condensed it down to one, courtesy of Zach. I said, can you give me your signature template? And condensed it down so it's refined
Thanks,
now.
Zach.
Yeah, Zach, good shout out there.
Good job.
A lot of stuff happens there at the table, media table for sure. We get a lot of productivity.
That's true. That's
happening.
True. Volleyball season, man, it's been fun.
It's
so
so
far.
fun.
Yeah.
So fun. I was actually we just left our kind of our postseason planning meeting, and Pooh, he's the man that runs all that postseason. And it was just really fun to be able to sit around the table with everyone that makes the magic happen. And, but no, we're very fortunate that our team is fantastic. We have an amazing group of student athletes. The coaching staff is by far the best in the nation. I was actually sitting with Coach Ulmer and I said, I don't want to inflate your ego.
Why would you?
I know.
Come on.
I tried not to.
He's going to be on the show.
I know.
Don't let it.
Yeah.
Please don't be listening to that.
Don't listen, Coach Ulmer. But I did honestly tell him it's been such a delight to be able to have that close access. The way that he leads and coaches that team along with Chid, and now we've added Erica, they are such a phenomenal coaching staff. And you can see that whether it's from practice to, what you see during a game. And they really do an amazing job. And I think the biggest thing that comes out of that is you can tell there's a lot of trust and confidence amongst each other, whether it's the team to the coaches, coaches to the team, to the student athletes. And it translates to the success that you see on the court.
Yeah, well, everyone knows, and I'm sure you've noticed by now, Matt and I have a unique relationship. But I'll just say this because he's not here and hopefully not listening. I love Coach Ulmer. Just the way that he goes about his business and comes in the studio and just has a good time. We're lucky to have him. I'll just put it that way. So now I'm going to go back to my regular scheduled programming when it comes to Coach Ulmer being in here. I'm kind of curious, though. You've now been through this a few times in your career where you come into administrator role, and there's already coaches that are there. I imagine that's a difficult dynamic in some ways, but it sounds like it hasn't been difficult with the ones you're working with.
No, and I have been so lucky. The department overall has been extremely welcoming. And to have Lisa Peterson as my predecessor who had so many years here, that's big shoes to fill. and especially in building that relationship with the coaches. And, early on I got to kind of cheat in with women's basketball coming in mid-season. Coach Graves and the staff were amazing to really welcome me in with open arms. And then, the joke is always like, volleyball tolerates me, because I'm just around and I love being around. And I do think that's really helped with the student athletes and the coaches just getting to know me as a person.
Sure.
That helps with that transition in. I mean, they've kind of adopted me into their programs and really trying to fill out how I could be the best resource for them and what they're trying to achieve.
Well, and you talk about resource management. I mean, I know that's a big part of your job. And then when you have postseason coming up, that's a good problem with resource management. So I want to come back to that.
Yeah.
That's exciting, I imagine, for someone in your role.
No, it's so exciting, and I was able to, from the time that I knew I was a Duck, but I hadn't started here yet, was right at the end of volleyball season.
Right.
So I was able to really kind of sit back and watch that from afar and just truly be a fan at that point,
Sure.
just a fan, and really root them on through the postseason. So now to be in it and see all the magic that goes into not only getting to this point, but then to make it happen is really exciting.
I tell fans all the time, like there's the team behind the team, and there's a lot of teams within those teams that are behind the team, and the logistics that it takes to pull off what we're talking about. That's why the meeting is happening now when it's like a month away.
Right.
Still, which is crazy sometimes.
Yeah, technically we haven't even put the
bid
in yet, but because of the success of our team, we're really confident that we're going to be able to get that bid and host that first and second round, and then we got to wait and see what happens for the next couple weeks about being able to host a regional, and I know that what I see with the staff and the team and how they're performing, I think we're in a really good position, but let's wait and see.
I got a couple questions from fans about, okay, Coach Ulmer's talked all year about preparing for postseason, wanting to host, and a reminder that is a huge deal in volleyball, that the first few rounds are hosted, and that makes a huge advantage. So that's what we're talking about, to give you a little bit of context, and that is a big deal.
No, whenever you have home court advantage, is huge, especially when you're in the postseason.
Yeah.
And so that's really what, our team has done. They're doing their work, and now we want to do ours to be able to give them that advantage.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to get a quick timeout. Val Johnson's with us. We'll cover a few more things, including women's basketball.
Hoops.
The season is underway.
Hoops is here.
Yeah, exhibition on Sunday. Quick timeout, come back, and yes, Matt Ulmer's on his way, and I have not gotten a text from him yet, so it's good. He's probably not listening. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
We're back on Doug Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack, Val Johnson here. Deputy Athletic Director, Senior Woman Administrator, Title IX Coordinator, and anything else?
You know, sometimes I go pick up sandwiches. I'm usually the Diet Dr. Pepper distributor.
Look, that's other duties as assigned.
Yeah, I'm always here for it.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
You know, I'm going to steal a phrase from Alex Stimson. He's used this before. For people that do a lot of things, just a real renaissance person, you know. That's an Alex Stimson original right there. So thanks, Alex. Appreciate all your work today.
Thanks, Alex.
Women's basketball season. It's officially here.
It's here.
So for you, is that – I always say that the most – it's funny. People assume that football season is the busiest time of year, for the broadcast crew. It's actually the easiest time of year because there's 4 of us. Right? Well, then you get into the basketball overlap, and it's split, and I actually think that the basketball-baseball overlap is when I'm the most busy, just based on the number of games. So I'm kind of curious for you, is the volleyball women's basketball overlap tough as an administrator? I don't know. How do you handle that?
Yeah, well, I'm learning. It's the first time around here. But no, this time of year is always, a guy I worked with before always called it the great sports overlap. It's just the great sports overlap. You got everything going on. You have fall seasons happening for golf, and football's going, volleyball's going. You got basketball coming into the fold, and so I think what's great for me is I have 2 teams that are actually housed in the same facility.
True. Yeah.
And that's great. And when you get to the overlap, we're not into conference quite yet, so you're still doing your non-conference basketball schedule. But the way that I've handled it, and you could ask Coach Ulmer when he's on next, and maybe Coach Graves when he comes on, is on Wednesdays I spend my day over at the arena.
Satellite office.
I satellite office over there.
Wow.
And it allows me time just to be around the teams and the staff. Most of the time I'm still just, doing my meetings and stuff via Zoom or, whatever work I have to do. But, I could start my day off by going to volleyball practice and then just being there. And then, I have a little bit of break, and in the afternoon it switches over to women's basketball. And so on Wednesdays is my day with the teams. And there's just such a benefit of just being around. Because then I'm able to pick up on things that I might not naturally know yet.
Right.
Who knows? Next year it might be a different story, and they might be like, Val, don't come over here on Wednesdays. Or they might be like, hey, can you come over a couple of days a week? Who knows? But it has been great, just being able to, this Sunday we had our exhibition game. Volleyball was on the road, so that was kind of an easier balance. I was planning on traveling with volleyball, but ended up switching that. Not because of basketball. My son had his last football game, so I went to that. Try to squeeze in the mom duties when I can. Sure. But it's actually worked out really, really great to be able to be over there on Wednesdays and just be a resource for the staff and the student athletes.
Yeah, that's why it's funny. I spend a lot of time just as a fly on the wall at practice, and that's when you just learn things. You get to know people.
Yeah, you get to know their personalities. You learn the quirks. They're super funny. I mean, our staff and our student athletes across the board are just great people to be around. So to come into their environment is really refreshing.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think a lot about in interviews, right? The behind the show, if you could. I talk to these people, usually you talk about student athletes, hours before they ever come on and do an interview. And I don't know, I think that makes it more fun. They know what to expect, I guess, for lack of a better phrase.
No, and I think it's always just great for our student athletes to see us around.
Yeah.
Just to see us, because it makes them more comfortable with us.
Makes sense. Women's basketball season, though, it's here.
Yeah.
So what's the travel schedule? You're going to go with volleyball for weeks, and then you're going to do women's basketball for weeks. How many trips are you going to go on this year?
That's still the debate. I haven't decided on my basketball trips quite yet because we're waiting to, figure out all of our volleyball things.
Yep.
Luckily, we're hosting some great games here for women's basketball. But, I think really I always have this thing about, be where your feet are. Volleyball's in their most competitive part of their season right now, so I try to put a lot of emphasis on them, and then we'll switch gears and move into women's basketball once their conference time hits. But definitely we'll be traveling, postseason with volleyball. Again, we're we're hoping to host here,
That's
for
right.
the first and second
Knock
rounds.
on wood,
That's what we
Yeah,
hope.
Knock on wood.
And then we'll shift gears and head into basketball season and have that happen for a while. But it's a great place to be in to be able to have the opportunity to be with such two great teams.
That's awesome. Well, what else should fans know? What would miss today?
Gosh, I definitely think, especially with volleyball, now's the time to come out and really support the teams. We're at home this weekend on Friday and Sunday. So I'm sure you'll talk to Ulmer about that, but definitely want to make sure folks come out because then our next game is the week of Thanksgiving against USC. So this is your chance. Come on out. I'm just doing a plug. Coach Ulmer just walked in the door. Doing a plug for volleyball. And then definitely come out and see our women's basketball team. The talent on this year's team is quite exceptional. The really cool thing I always think for the state of Oregon is we have 3 Oregonians on the team. So that's a lot of fun to be able to see some local student athletes come out, a lot of which I'm sure there's a lot of people around the state that have actually played against Bella and Ula and Sophia. So come out and support them. And they're looking great. And we have some really, really great transfers that have come in that are really fun and exciting to watch. So
awesome.
it's a fun team to come and experience.
That's awesome. Val Johnson, Deputy Athletic Director, Senior Women Administrator, Title IX Coordinator, Jack of all trades. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having
Appreciate
me.
it. I hope we didn't miss anything.
No, I got it.
And I got to ask the hard-hitting question. Coach, did you listen to the show earlier? Today? Yeah. That's great.
There we go. We're good.
This is good.
We're good. We're safe.
Okay.
We're
we
safe.
did it.
We did it.
Val, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to get a timeout. When we come back, Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach. No, he's not going to find it in time. Quick timeout after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Matt Ulmer now in the Country Financial Studio, everybody. Coming off a great weekend in the state of Washington. Coach!
Hey!
How are things? Happy Halloween.
The Joey Mac. Wow.
I wondered if you would come in dressed. We had a bet going in the studio.
I try to always be dressed.
I wondered if you'd come in dressed for Halloween.
Oh, I thought about wearing a costume on the show.
Yeah.
What
would you have done?
You.
Yes, I thought you would.
But I just don't know how I could do my hair like that. I just couldn't.
You couldn't. Haircut looks nice.
You
noticed?
noticed?
Did you get it
Thank
cut
you for noticing.
for Halloween?
My gosh. Did I get?
How often do you get your hair cut?
I got it cut for ESPN.
Okay, that makes sense. But how often do you get your haircut? Like, what's the routine?
Every 3 to 4 weeks during season.
Wow.
Every 6 to 7 out of season.
That makes sense. So you get a little scruffy on the recruiting trail.
Yeah, and then I shave it down for like Thursday night because then we play Friday.
Okay. All right.
So I let it grow out again, and then.
It does. You say that it looks a little longer when we talk on
stop.
Tuesdays.
That's fine. Stop looking.
That's great. No, I was just curious. These are the important things
keep my chin down.
that people want to know.
So no. But I don't want to just do it all the time. So I just work my way back through it. But yeah.
So a lot of things.
I'm glad you noticed though.
I'm sorry that the headset does kind of press the hair down. I know the volume is important. Though.
That's all right. It does. I'll put the windows down as I do my next drive. Pick it right back up again.
Hey, good weekend, huh?
It was a good weekend, yes.
Yeah. Let's go back in time. Break down Washington State for us first. What'd you like?
It's our last time to Pullman, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
The crowd was fantastic. Really good atmosphere. I thought, Washington State is so tough to play there. And we were just very tentative in the first set, and they were doing kind of everything they wanted to do. And then second set, I thought we kind of got over that, and we just really started pushing. And Kate Thibault went back there and got us on a 9-0 lead, and she was fantastic. And I think everybody just kind of ran with it from there. So it was a really nice performance for us. It's hard to hit a good number against them on your offense, and we did. We were almost at our average, which is really, really good there, and we held them down to like 120, which that's pretty phenomenal. So just really proud of everything we did there, and then turn around and go to Seattle. And we tried to not serve in at all and see if we can win a match, but we served some balls in regretfully, and we won in 3. And our offense was just real hot, and we hit like 450 for the match and did just a lot of good stuff.
So now that we're into this time of year where you've had that first matchup, then you get the second matchup, like how much does that matter? Like when you go on the road now and Washington State gets the victory round 1 and then you change something. I don't know, like how much does that factor in as a coach, as a team when it's round 2 against an opponent?
Yeah, I don't know the stats of it for us, but I do feel like we have done historically a better job in that second match. Again, I remember that spring COVID season where we played those back-to-back games. It's the only time we've done it. We went undefeated in the second match.
Makes sense.
For that year. So I feel like for us, whether it's just, we're more familiar with who they are and what we're trying to do. And we try to do a lot of different scheme stuff. We try not to make it look the same against everybody. And so I think we learn a lot that first time playing. And then we can see what we did film-wise against them and what we look like. And I think it helps us.
That's really interesting. Like you were talking about scheme-wise, it's so funny. Like you want to show a lot, I would imagine, so that then there's a lot that the opponent has to break down and spend time on in practice. But then if you show everything, then you don't have as many wrinkles to show later in the year. Like, how much does that matter as a coach?
I feel like in our sport, not as much because it's so fluid, right? And like because where we pass the ball from, it could never be the same spot.
Right. Yeah.
Where again, like football, you're always hiking it from here.
It's a set-piece sport.
Yeah, exactly. It's different. Or even basketball, like you could dribble the ball up to this spot and go from there.
Interesting.
Like for us, it's always could start from a different spot. So then their eyes are at a different spot, so they might not see a different pattern. And the offense. So I think it's a little bit different when it comes to our sport. But yeah, again, hopefully as our season goes on, our offense evolves. We add some more wrinkles into it. We either hopefully generally our tempo picks up as the year goes on. We get a little bit faster and we're playing a little bit cleaner. And I thought for sure that's what it looked like this past weekend. It looked like we were a pretty good offensive team this past weekend.
You talked about the hot offense against Washington. And what a great display on ESPN. Second time I get to ask you about just the power of being on ESPN for your sport. How proud are you of the performance in front of a national audience?
Great. I mean, again, I think so many people just showed what they could do. And, Karen McGee has been just killing it all year.
Yeah.
And so just for more people just to see just how special she is. Again, she's if she doesn't get a kill, it's like what happened. That's kind of where we're at right now, which is really neat and unfair to her all at the same time.
Yeah.
But Hannah, Pukas was just what an amazing point guard, orchestrator of the whole thing. She did a great job. Georgia had a great weekend. Again, I never think she gets enough credit, and I thought she was fantastic. And then Morgan Lewis was near perfect against Washington, and that was really cool, to see that. Again, I could go on and on.
Well, I wanted to ask you about.
It's so fun I just think for more eyeballs to see just how good they are.
Well, to that point, like you talked about the depth, and I have Morgan Lewis written down with just how efficient she was. Like I know the efficiency is really important in your sport, but also just the depth of the offense I felt like was really on display, particularly against Washington.
Yeah, I still feel like that's where we can grow the most from now until the end is, in particular with Morgan and Mimi, who are normally two of our higher error hitters. We also set them a lot, and they're very powerful hitters. The things they're trying to do, not a lot of people can try to do. But I do feel like, we have moments where we just make too many unforced errors from them. And I thought they're working really hard at getting better at it, and they both are doing a much better job. And, again, I still think there's more to grow. But to see, I thought Morgan just had her most complete offensive match there, and just her choices. I thought she just used so many tools in her tool bag. She brought them out, just really made some great reads and executed so well. And they had a really hard time with her. And Hannah just did a good job of just keep feeding her. She's hot, so get her the ball. But again, if Morgan is, if she can score for us on the right, we're a really tough team.
Yeah.
And again, the more that we can get Mimi going, then I like us.
I've talked with a couple people about this before. Like, I love watching volleyball. You mentioned the fluidity, and it's kind of on my mind now. But I love watching volleyball too because of the way that you can keep serving to that hot hand. And sometimes it's amazing to me, like when someone's hot and they hit right through a double block, like. What leads to that? Is there something like as a coach, can you put your finger on the
normally
this is why?
Normally it's confidence, right? And then so again the more the quicker our approach, the quicker our arm, the faster your blocking hands need to be to get formed. And a lot of times people play at this rhythm. Well, when you're really firing, then your hands are a little bit late, and then that's when we kind of beat the block up a little bit more, and you're going to have more success. So for us, again, what we've been talking about is I want it to be on our terms. I want us to go be aggressive. Within that, I want us also to be better problem solvers, right? So we need to be able to be aggressive and assertive and attack mindset, but then also understand, this is what the defense is giving us. We're going to take that as opposed to forcing too much. And I think, again, I thought Morgan did a great job of understanding. She threw some tips in there, which I haven't seen her do in weeks, just things like that, just because that's what the coverage allowed, so you just take what they give you. And some nights it's going to be, that drop shot. Sometimes it's going to be, working that line or whatever that is. And so as an attacker, you want to make sure that you have all those things in your bag because you don't know what you're going to need against a certain team.
So it's a mental, subtle click, it sounds like, that what you're looking for consistently.
Yeah, I think for us in general, like, we do so many things at such a high level that for us it's really just a small change. And normally it's a technical thing, I think. Like sometimes you just get out of whack just a little bit, and that can, again, I use the golfing analogy, right? Like if all of a sudden I do something a little bit different with my hands or something like that when I'm golfing, all of a sudden that ball's flying, in a direction that I can't find again.
Well, so, for you, not for me.
No, right. Yeah. I know you are the putt-putt champ.
Thank you.
Yes. But in our sport, it's similar. Like you just drop your elbow a little bit, that ball's going to sail on you. You put your hand too high on it, it's going to bring the ball back down in the block. So some of those things, it can really be just that simple. We just need to be able to refocus just a little bit and, get technically a little bit better, and that might be just the difference for us.
He's Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach. Now coming up on the week ahead, but I do want to talk with you a little bit about the committee reveal. I like that they're doing it. It's kind of follow up the college football playoff model. A lot of sports are doing this now. For me, at least, it's something to talk about. It's kind of a check-in. What do you think of it as a coach?
Yeah, I think every committee is different as what they put points of emphasis on.
Right.
And rightfully so, because I think every year presents new challenges with how things are. Again, you don't know how teams are going to schedule and whatnot. So, and then when it comes down to it, like how do you differentiate between just a couple teams at the top? I think that is hard. So I do think there's always a reason why they have to pick certain things in order to do that. But in general, I thought, the Pac, this year is the #1 conference. We won the most games. Our RPI as a conference is the best. So I think it's just like in years past when it's been the Big Ten or the SEC or whatever, like they're favored like we should be. And I thought it showed, with the three of us in the top 6.
Half of the top 6. Let's say that again. Half of the top 6 are from this conference. Ducks are one of them.
Yeah, and I think they're right. I think what we've done is shown that. And again, there's a lot of good wins in that. But what it shows is, one of our goals this year is to be in the top 4. We put ourselves in a position to do that. We have to continue to play our best ball in order to make that happen.
You talked about that with us on this show, and then also with the rest of the media a couple weeks ago, and then last week. Like, the goals are still in front of you, right? I mean, that's got to be a message to the team, I'd imagine.
always. I mean, until the end. Again, I hope that's why we play our best volleyball at the end of the season, is because we're just trying to grow as a group. We're trying not to get caught up in the stuff we can't control. Let's just keep getting better, one day at a time. And again, I thought, last year we were definitely playing our best volleyball at the end, and if we can do that this year, then I like our chances.
Yeah, good to be back at home this week,
too.
too.
Come on, let's go. Yeah, very excited.
Utah.
Very excited to be back at MK. We only have 3 regular season home games left.
Can you believe that?
That was so fast.
It does kind of. I feel like every year we get to November and I'm like, whoa.
And we're number 1 in attendance on the West.
Well done, fans.
Let's go, Ducks. Come on.
Well done.
We're at over 3,500 a game. It's awesome.
Can we
We're
add
growing.
in some of the people from Matt Night Mayhem last night?
We should.
I mean,
yeah.
That counts as an event,
a lot
right?
of people.
Yeah. That was fun, huh? Let's actually talk about that for a second. That was fun.
Fun. Our team had a great time with it.
Good.
Yeah, it was great to see everybody. And I hope everybody comes out this weekend.
Yeah.
And Utah, Colorado, again, they're both, bubble tournament teams, and they need that, they're looking for more signature wins. They're going to be coming after us. Our matches were tight, in the mountains against them, and so we're happy to be home and playing them and keep trying to get better this weekend. But, yeah, only 3 home games left. Like, let's continue to pack it and set the tone for hopefully what a host playoff will look like.
Yeah, that's going to be this is fun.
Let's keep going.
Feels like playoffs already.
Let's keep building.
It kind of feels
I think
that way.
that's the best part about, the conference being so strong this year, is that you're always in that mode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, legitimately, you have 4 teams right now in our conference that could be in the top 10.
Yeah. Friday, Matthew Knight Arena, 6 o'clock, televised on the Oregon live stream. Alex.
Thanks,
Alex.
Alex.
That's right.
Let's go.
Knight will have the call, as usual. Knight Ureski coming up for KWVA and on the live stream. It's a wear white matchup against Utah. And then noon on Sunday. Reminder, fall back.
Is it?
Daylight savings this weekend.
Fall back so we lose?
Yeah. No.
Wait, no, we gain.
Yeah. I never did this right.
Spring forward, we lose.
Spring forward,
That's
you
right.
lose an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, falling back.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will take it.
Yeah. So falling back, and it's a noon start. So
perfect.
Set those clocks.
We'll be well rested, ready to go.
Yeah. Do you remember an era where you had to just know that it was that date and reset your wristwatch? Because I've only really ever been in the era where it automatically does it for me. Thoughts?
Yeah, I do. I do know that time. What?
How was it?
Why?
I'm just asking.
I don't know. I didn't do it. My parents just woke me up. It wasn't for me.
Yep. That's good.
Were you trying to get me with something?
No, that was just.
I don't like the
genuinely
smirk on your face
it just
at all.
Came into my mind.
I don't like that one
Best
bit.
Halloween costume you've ever put together, either for you or a member of your family.
Well, tonight we're going as Harry Potter crew.
Right.
I will be Hagrid.
Of course.
So
that tracks.
The 5-month-old will have a little lightning bolt scar on his head.
Okay.
And we got a lot of pieces. We got a lot of pieces tonight.
What's
so
the
we'll
rest
see if
of
it all
the
comes
family
together.
then?
So my wife is Moaning Myrtle, and Grandpa is Dumbledore, and Grandma's Trelawney, and then we got Hermione, and of course my son, who's just turned 10 this past week, he will be Voldemort.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we got Hedwig the little owl, is the 2-year-old.
Wow.
I told you we got a lot of pieces.
A
lot of pieces.
You
So
really.
We'll get a nice picture. We'll get
Yeah.
a nice picture, and maybe I'll let you see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, come on. Any chance you have, you do something to ruin me. So
no.
Okay.
See,
just wait till you get a picture of what Oni did today in practice about me, and we'll see what you do.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
See, that's my point. Yeah.
Text message, Chid.
See, can't trust him.
No, you can't. Apparently,
I gave you a little bone. We'll see
there's
what you do
a
with it.
picture I need to see from practice today. We'll see if she might. I mean, Chid might be watching this. She usually does. Does she give you notes afterwards?
No.
Oh.
No. What is she gonna say? What's the leaderboard?
Oh.
I'm still winning. I think I should get another one.
Nope.
It's been a while.
Nope. That's.
No,
not
I didn't
how
get
that
one for a
works.
golf cart. I feel like golf cart.
No, I think we did give you one for that.
I'm about to sing a national anthem in front of people. Shouldn't that be one?
Yeah. Oh, that will be once it's done.
Come on. I think there's some things here.
Yeah. Oh, this is great.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, we'll show this coming out of the break. We'll get that loaded in.
Wait,
for
today?
you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Scott, I will put that on our drive for you, and we'll get that taken care of. It's great to have you.
Thanks.
This
It's great
is
to
fun.
be here. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
This is really fun.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations on a great season so far, and here's to a lot of great
Thanks.
ones ahead.
Yeah, let's keep it going. Yeah.
He's Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach, ladies and gentlemen.
Go Ducks.
At home. 2 of the last 3 at Matthew Knight Arena.
6 o'clock
coming
Friday.
up. Have I told you
6.
that my sister is coming up for Thanksgiving?
Mm-mm.
And she was very clear to me, I'm not coming to like celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm coming to watch Oregon volleyball on Tuesday against USC during Thanksgiving.
I love everything about that.
Yeah, it tracks.
I can't wait.
You and her are really similar.
Okay. Well, then we need to spend some time together that week.
Nope.
Why not?
That's just too much.
Sounds like a Joey Rose session, and I'm here for that.
That's right. Okay, well, we'll get these pictures loaded in. Matt Ulmer Halloween costume, flip-flops with socks, stellar flow, and a top 10 team.
Let's go.
That's a great costume right there. Well done. Matt Ulmer, Oregon volleyball head coach. Ducks are in action Friday at 6 at Matthew Knight Arena, noon on Sunday. And when we come back, having some fun at Matt Ulmer's expense on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I hate you, Joey.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Adopt U.S. Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the Lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. So, Oregon, this is so great. Erica Dillard, associate head coach for the Ducks, nickname of Chid, just sent us the pictures from practice today. This is great. Oni, the Ducks middle blocker. Well, this is first what Chid referred to as her favorite. A crime missed 18 serves in a match and had to dress up accordingly. But this is Oni, Oregon middle blocker, dressed up as Matt Ulmer. I mean, look at the hair. It's so good with the little gray streaks in the front of the hair. Chid, thank you for sending so quickly. And to Coach Ulmer, who literally sprinted out of the studio and did not want to see this. Oh, that's fun. But apparently, Oni stayed in character of Matt Ulmer the entire practice. Like, did not change during practice at all. That's fun. That's awesome. Hey, Oregon men's golf is in action today. They had 27 holes to finish today, so we'll tell you about the results tomorrow. They were leading heading into the final round today. Happy Halloween, everybody. Men's basketball media day today. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the show.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's